Welcome back. And for this one, I want to discuss quickly the trade that just happened over an hour ago. The Dallas Cowboys have traded for Texans receiver Brandin Cooks in exchange for a 2023 fifth and a 2024 sixth, being the number 2 receiver, saying they really don't have anyone outside of CeeDee Lamb. Drafted Jalen Tolbert. Sorry, they passed over Romeo Doubs to take Jalen Tolbert. Hasn't worked out, and outside of CeeDee Lamb, they really don't have options. With Schultz being in free agency, there's a chance he could come back, seeing that he hasn't been signed yet, but that remains to be seen. As of right now, the only 2 big offensive pieces you have is Tony Pollard and CeeDee Lamb, so no doubt getting a second receiver was key. They get a nice veteran presence for that, though I question the future he's going to have there. But I'll quickly break down his stats this year. He had 699 yards and 3 touchdowns, and give you a quick glimpse of each game. He only had one 100-yard game, which was the final game of the year, and 3 touchdowns, which again wasn't that big. If you tend to take away towards the end of the half, towards the last few games of the season, he only had 1 touchdown through the whole season. Scored 2 in the final 3, though. It's tough to put a lot of blame on him because the Texans were so bad with Davis Mills and Kyle Allen. Them tanking for the first overall pick, ended up with the second. Playing an overall bad situation overall. He wanted to go out. He wanted to get out. Stays at Texas, but goes to a much better team. But that's my concern with the money. So he's entering the season at age 30. His cap hit is 12.3. 12.3. Decent. It's a lot of money for the lack of production he's had, especially for the last season. Now, of course, last year he had $9 million or 9.7, jumps up to 12. I think he can be a very good option, but I question if this is going to be a 1-year deal essentially, because he has one more year on his contract, but is a $16.5 million cap. I think it's way too much for Dallas, especially with, again, the age and also the contracts that they have to sign in the future, which with CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons, and so forth. But I think for right now, this is a great option going into the season. Also, on top of that, their other trade with Stephon Gilmore helping the offense, and it's really going to give Cooks more opportunities to get the ball with, of course, CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard. So there's more. He's the definitive wide receiver too. And if you look at his stats for his career, it's been pretty solid. I think he's been very underrated his career. 630 receptions for 8,616 yards, 49 touchdowns. But as you see, he hasn't been on teams that long. The longest he's ever been is 3 years. New Orleans for the first 3, goes for 1 year with New England for the Super Bowl, gets traded to the Rams. One of those years in 2018 is the Super Bowl once again. And then the last 3 years were in Houston. Even then, if you want to take away this bad season because it was basically them tanking, he's gone for over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. So I think it's very reasonable to get that production from Cooks again. If you want to say worst case scenario, 900 receiving yards, but I think between 900 and 1,000, and then essentially 5-6 touchdowns, I think is very productive for what they need. They didn't have that second option outside of Lamb. I know I forgot about Gallup, but Gallup has had injury problems or injury concerns. So basically, they haven't had a sustainable second receiver outside of Lamb. I think for this year, at least, this gives them a great option to potentially just be a short-term bridge to potentially getting maybe someone in the draft or in the future, maybe next offseason, another option. But again, I just want to make a quick update. Brandin Cooks was traded for a 2023 fifth and a 2024 sixth to the Cowboys. Let me know your thoughts down below on the trade if you think it's good for the Cowboys and also for Brandin Cooks. That being said, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next one.